It's amazing. My name is Tim Lynch. You've been watching MLGBA Legal Lines. We're having a fascinating discussion with the Executive Director of PFLAG. Please join us. Our number here is 617-708-3290. That's 617-708-3290. So how do you go about, well, let me strike that. What has PFLAG done with respect to getting this anti-bullying legislation passed? I mean, what are the issues, and what are people saying to the contrary of what you have said?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not quite sure what the opposition, I can't imagine anyone being against having bullying legislation, because every parent knows this is an important issue. They have children that are going to school every day and coming home crying. We had a parent say, you know, my kid came home in 4th grade and kids were throwing rocks at him and saying, "You're gay." Mm-hmm. And, you know, it happens, and every parent who has a kid in school knows that bullying is a problem. And parents want the school to protect their kids. It's the law. They need to protect those kids for whatever category of protection. But they need to be protected. Parents don't want to send their kids into a school where they're going to get beat up or they're going to be made fun of. And many parents were bullied themselves. They know what it feels like. I mean, and I think most parents feel like whatever it takes to pass this legislation, to have school trainings, faculty trainings, student trainings, we really have to emphasize that school should be a safe place. It's not a rite of passage. You need that is one opposition. Sometimes you'll hear parents say, "Oh, it's a rite of passage. I survived it. It toughens you up." You know,
boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys is very common. It's a terrible message to send, because when you talk to kids and you have clear expectations of them and clear consequences, it's not something that they do. It's not boys will be boys. You can talk to boys, and there are plenty of boys who are not bullies.
Yeah. So there are basically, I guess, 3 groups. You have the bullier,
right,
who apparently there's been research that shows that they continue on, they end up in jail. They go on to
higher percentages, yeah.
To unfortunately worse things. Then you of course have the victim, mm-hmm. who the horrible consequences are as extreme as suicide.
Right.
But I'd imagine you also have the school environment where, you know, nobody else feels safe because there are people bullying other people around you.
Right.
You know, and it doesn't create for a more open and free and, you know, relaxed environment for the other kids who aren't even involved, but it just happened to be there, and they're afraid too, I'm sure,
right.
or horrified by what they're seeing.
Right. And for gay youth are over 3 times more likely to skip school because they don't feel safe going into their own schools. Again, because being gay or being perceived to be gay is the #1 way to bully somebody today. And so they just don't go to school. They're over 4 times more likely to kill themselves because that's what they have to experience every day.
We have a caller? Oh, awesome. Hello? Oh, okay. Oh, it's okay. Let me remind you that we invite you to call in. These are very interesting issues affecting all of our children in the Commonwealth. Our number here is 617-708-3290. My name is Tim Lynch, and this is MLGBA Legal Lines. So you mentioned that the legislation would encourage certain training and everything. What does that involve? I mean, is this 1-hour training? Is this weeks? What are we talking about?
I think we're to that. I'm not aware of that amount of depth right now. That will require schools to have a policy, and that the Department of Education would be sort of ensuring that every school had a policy. So I'm not sure of all of the depth of the bill at this point. There are actually many different bills, so I'm not sure that they've whittled it down to just one yet.
Well, it would seem reasonable that they already have in place rules pertaining to racial issues, ethnic backgrounds. I would assume they have rules with respect to respect for people of different genders.
Right.
Genders.
Right.
Gender, excuse me. So I wouldn't imagine it'd be too involved to just add one more issue to that.
Absolutely. In most schools today, if you say the N word, that's an automatic suspension. If you say the F word, meaning faggot, most schools, it depends on the school whether something happens or not. It depends on the teacher. It depends on so many different things, but it's not clear cut. It's not, that's an automatic, you go to the office and you're suspended.